All right, folks, the Biden regime today celebrating, claiming jobs market, well, it's great. There's just one problem. Doesn't appear to be true. Between February and March, revised numbers show we added 149,000 fewer jobs than initially reported. Let's bring in the host of Trish Regan, the Trish Regan Show, and editor-in-chief of TrishIntel.com, Trish Regan. Great to see you as always. And Trish, you know what? The regime admits they lost track of 85,000 illegal alien kids. So Democrats might try to, say this is just par for the course. But, the jobs report being down 150,000 over reality, or inflated over reality. You know how the game is played. The media reports the initial numbers and never the downward revisions.
No, they never.
What is really going on here?
Unless, of course, the revisions are good. And then they'll be like, oh, you see, it was even better than anyone thought. So these revisions are bad. They don't surprise me. And by the way, 295, it's not enough. I mean, you've got to be, just to sort of keep pace, you've got to be growing at the 300,000 to 400,000 range. On top of that, this inflation number still really bothers me, because you get the Federal Reserve saying, you know what, we're done. We're going to just kind of sit by the sidelines for the foreseeable future after hiking rates to the highest level in 16 years, because we've got, they didn't actually say this, but we've got this election thing coming up, right? So they're terrified they're going to really tank the economy, which means you're going to have more inflation. So it doesn't even, like, people, like, you look at wages, for example, they're going up a little bit, but they're not keeping pace with inflation. And I was listening to you in the tease, as we call it in the TV business, and you mentioned about these lies, right? Well, whether or not you want to call it lies, I would say it is a misrepresentation when you look at some of these inflation numbers. If you were to compare and contrast it to the old metrics that we used to use in the Carter years, I'd actually say our inflation is far more similar to those yester years on an orange to orange, apples to apples basis. They changed the way they accounted for this stuff back in the 80s. And so when you really think about it, we are looking at major, major inflation. We've got a banking crisis on the horizon, and you got an economy that is in the classic stagflation environment. So I don't know how he runs on this, frankly. I don't see it.
A lot of help, I suppose. Look, I've only got about a minute and a half left. I want to pick your brain on something you have a lot of experience about. The Tucker Carlson leaks are circulating online. You have firsthand experience with these types of scorched earth tactics allegedly coming out of Fox News. Megyn Kelly says this is the MO for people like Irina Briganti and Suzanne Scott. You know what it's like over there. What is your read on this whole situation?
My read is that something bigger was going on, because, look, Tucker made a heck of a lot of money for them. So from a business perspective, and these are business people, there had to have been something there. I mean, it could just be that they didn't like some of the text. Maybe he spoke crudely about some family members. I have no idea. It could also be that there's a lot of pressure in Washington, D.C. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, Chuck Schumer, and I mentioned this on the podcast, actually, in yesterday's program, Running the Sound, he was saying we need to regulate Fox News, and specifically, he said, Tucker Carlson. And then you had AOC saying the exact same thing the Sunday on MSNBC before he was fired, that Monday. So I also question whether there was a lot of pressure going on in Washington, D.C. And don't forget, Murdoch lost out on his Sky News deal, right? That $15 billion deal because of Ofcom. And they said, no, you don't fit the standards of British broadcasting. Could he have been fearful that maybe Democrats would have said, hey, you don't fit our standards either, and maybe this was some kind of consolation prize? I have no idea. I'm just trying to understand it from a business perspective. Again, from a business perspective, they know he's formidable. They know if he goes, hey, and shows up on your air every night, that would really hurt them. So I suspect there's a little bit of an effort at play to maybe try and break him away from his audience, but easier said than done.
Right. Trish Regan, thank you so much. Appreciate the expertise all around.